All right. Hey guys, I'm coming to you from my amazing clear light infrared sauna. And I thought I would jump on from here because this is a really important part of the conversation that I'll be having with you today. Today, we are diving into ways to deal with symptoms that show up for menopause naturally. So I'm really excited. This is a very um, near to my heart theme and conversation because my whole mission is to help women feel empowered and to be able to trust their body again and to listen to their body and remember that their bodies are their one true home in this lifetime and to really listen to the intelligence of their bodies or our bodies because the intelligence of our bodies runs through the system in our bodies, which is our fascia, which is why I wrote this book called Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor. I'm sorry, this book is called The Power Source. I wrote this book quite a few years ago, and we also now have my course called Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor, which is an extension of this course. But how this relates to menopause is really interesting. So when you think about it, menopause is a natural thing that happens to every woman on the planet. Some women have no symptoms and some women have really terrible symptoms. But what it boils down to, and this is also confirmed by Chinese medicine, is usually women that have worse symptoms typically have a depletion of the yin energy in their body or in their field, essentially. So what that means is that they've most likely been doing too much. So when we break it down to demystify the yin and the yang and not really talk about it in those terms, it's essentially the balance of doing and being, forcing and flowing, contracting and expanding. And so many of us have been stuck in that kind of yang culture, the control, the force, the make it happen, the chasing. And we've forgotten about the flow and the being and the surrender and the allowing and the attracting instead of chasing. And have forgotten that we are actually electromagnetic beings. And so what I find really interesting is that when we start to replenish the yin in our bodies, then we actually are able to either prevent or reverse a lot of the symptoms that we get during menopause. So, like I said earlier, menopause is a natural thing that women go through. Just like adolescents going through puberty, that's completely normal and natural, and that's the innate intelligence of the body helping you move through that part of it. The body knows what to do. So menopause is very much like that as well. So it's a time to embrace and maybe slow down a little bit, become more present, tap into our wisdom, our body wisdom, and our wisdom of just living a life for many years and learning as we go. So I want to jump on here though, before we go in a little deeper. I want you to actually feel the difference between that yin and yang or that force and flow. So one of the things I want to have you guys do is, if you're okay with this, if you're in a place where you can feel your body, go ahead and just sit in a tension there. So make sure that your sits bones grounded, one, so that's a little tilted, and the other one, so they're grounded and equal, whatever you're sitting on, whether it's a chair or a bench or a pillow. Just have a seat, and I want you to feel the base of your core. And then we're going to actually do a little breathing so that you can activate and reconnect the neuromuscular connections to your body. So you're going to take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, just allowing some of that stress energy to release. And then inhale again. And as you inhale, let's do a big breath in, filling up the lungs three-dimensionally. Hold the breath and feel how when that breath is coming into the body, that it's actually pushing the diaphragm down and the diaphragm is pushing down into the organs, and then the organs are dropping down into the pelvic floor, and the pelvic floor is actually opening and expanding like a flower. Okay, so when we inhale, it opens, and then when we exhale, it just naturally closes. It's not a big movement, it's very subtle. But what this does for our body is it actually pumps the cerebral spinal fluid through our system, which helps to nourish the brain with nutrients, and it also helps to flush the brain of toxins. So it's an incredibly important physiological movement, or flow in the body. And what happens when we get stuck in yang and force is this beautiful cycle, this rhythm that's happening in our bodies starts to stagnate. And so that's why I'm so excited about my course, the Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor, so that you can restore flow, not only in the pelvic floor, because we actually work our way through the entire body. We get up into the organs and the sacrum and the lower back. We get into the diaphragm and the lungs, which is hugely important to be able to take in more take in more oxygen and release more CO2, and also to metabolize stress, tension, anxiety better too. Then we also work our way up to the heart and the chest and the back of the body, like the shoulder blades, which, I know everyone has tension, the weight of the world on their shoulders. So now that we're speaking of that, I want you to also feel this a little bit in a more kinesthetic sensory awareness, rather than understanding it in your mind, in your head, understanding it or understanding it in your body. Okay, so you're going to shrug the shoulders up. That's the yang, that's the doing, that's the force. And then exhale. You're going to feel everything starting to drop down, and that's the flow state, right? That's the letting go and the surrender. So we need both in life to thrive. So shrugging up, doing, and being, forcing and flowing. And then let's just rock a little side to side. And this just also sends a message to your nervous system that you are safe, that you are healthy, that you are supported. And this also allows you to drop into more of that yin state. So obviously parasympathetic state is more of the yin. So this is more of like dropping into that more calm state so that your body can do the healing that it's meant to do. And then obviously the yang state, the doing state, is the sympathetic state, right? So many of us have been stuck in that state, and we've forgotten that we need both to thrive as human beings. And actually, in order to become really strong, and I've worked with a lot of pro athletes around this too, in order to be the strongest and reach your highest potential, you actually need to fully let go. Like I use the example of the bicep, which can relate to the pelvic floor as well. But if you're constantly in contraction mode here, this is actually going to become weak. So this is what we call hypertonic. And this happens in the clutching of the pelvic floor too. If you're stuck in clutch and you're holding on and bearing down, and you're never fully extending and stretching and expanding, then you will never be able to reach your highest potential and your true strength, whether that's in your pelvic floor, in your jaw, in your abs, and in your arms, and also in your mind and in your emotional resilience as well. So that's why it's so important to be able to manage the symptoms of menopause naturally, to restore the yin, right? The restorative, the hydration, and the flow. It doesn't mean we're not going to do the forcing and the doing and making things happen and action and all of that. We need that too. But so many of us are so pushed to burnout that we actually have just lost any connection to what it means to feel at ease and to feel calm and to be able to not be trying to find some sort of distraction that helps us bypass the feelings and the feeling sensations in our bodies. So I wanted to show you this too. So this is the body sphere. And this is one of the tools. It's basically a squishy ball, a Pilates squishy ball. And this is one of the tools that we work with inside my course, Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor, and of course in the book as well. And of course in my app, in lots of different flows in my method too, the Low Rocks Align Live Studio. So I just wanted to give you the visual of this because what this does, a couple of things it does. So the ball actually acts as a pressure tool similar to getting body work. So we sit on the ball, the neuromuscular connections to the base of the core, the root of the core. It also wakes up that pelvic floor and helps you be able to feel that expansion and the contraction. So it's actually turning on the kinesthetic intelligence of the body, the sensory intelligence. So we use this sphere to roll through your entire body inside the course. So what this does, firstly, it applies pressure, which then activates what's called piezoelectricity. That means pressure electricity. And that piezoelectricity is basically turning on what in Chinese medicine they would call your qi, your life force energy. Now, another thing that I've discovered and found through working with these tools, whether it's a dome, a roller, a body, a fascia comb, anything that's applying pressure, is what I've found is that it actually helps you to become more embodied in those parts of your body. So in a way, this course is completely about coming back into your body, listening to your body, remembering that your body has the answers and the body never lies, and remembering that your body speaks a language. It does not speak English. It does not speak words. It speaks in energy, frequency, vibration. It speaks in pain, inflammation, even dis-ease. And so by using these tools and working our way through your tissues, you're creating the flow in your body, you're restoring the yin in your body, and you're able to actually replenish your system and even rebalance your hormones. So I've had clients in my community and with private clients as well actually delay menopause because they were able to maintain this flow in their bodies and their systems. And definitely lots of people that have had zero symptoms from, the dreaded menopause. So I think it's really about also how we look at menopause and how we address it. There's a number of things that I'm going to share with you guys that are actually natural ways to address, including sitting in here in the sauna, to address the side effects that can show up when we have these menopause symptoms that are really about this deficiency in your yin. So one more thing I wanted to go over too is as we're applying the pressure with the ball, whether we are sitting on the ball, I'll show you that. Okay, so you sit on it. Let's see if we can. Sitting on the ball, because why not, right? So you're sitting on it, you're opening up the tissues, and you're doing circles, and then we're rolling through all the way up through the belly area, the sacrum, the lower back, into the psoas, all these areas that no fitness programs ever address, to be honest. So we're working our way up. We roll out the belly. We roll out the diaphragm. We roll out the chest and even under the breast area as well, flushing the lymphatic fluid, flushing the emotional energy that's stuck, awakening that piezoelectricity or life force energy, the chi, the electric energy inside the body. That's the replenishing energy that helps you feel more youthful, more supple, and also takes away that rigidity, that dehydration. It takes away the tension, the pain, the inflammation. So there's so many amazing side effects. So I want to show you what's actually happening in your body. So this is, how we're made of water. We're basically a liquid crystal That's what our fascia is. Our fascia is a liquid crystal, and it has this fluid that weaves through it. Some people call it structured water or the fourth phase of water. And it's this like gelatinous water that is like a shell around the kind of spider web of the fascia. Okay. So what happens when we roll these areas and we apply the pressure through any of these types of tools, through body work, through rebounding, even breath work and stretching and yoga, all that stuff. So think of this as your dried up body that's become thick, hard, dense, and kind of calcified. And you're wearing this armor and it's making you hunched over and you barely can move your neck. You've got that hunchback. You're starting to feel the tension in your lower back. You're starting to feel the what do they call them? Knock knees, and then the bunions of the feet. Everything's starting to condense inward. What happens is when we start working with the fascia, we get the flow and we regenerate the yin, is we're basically putting the water, look at that, putting the water back in to the tissues and the muscles. Now remember, your fascia also wraps through and touches every cell of your body. So as we apply the pressure, the water comes in and you become thinner and more malleable, more flexible, less dense. Oh, guess what? One of the other amazing benefits is your skin starts to glow. You have more radiance. You have this beautiful, beautiful light that shines through you because of the water. It's not about how much water you drink. This is really about how much water you can get into your cells. So we call it cellular hydration. And the way you get cellular hydration is through movement, through breath, and through applying pressure. And the reason why this all has a huge impact on how we can influence reversing or preventing signs of menopause is that we're continuing to get this flow in the system. We're bringing more water into the body. That is the thing of the yin, right? So we bring more water, we bring more flow, we bring more juiciness and hydration. And then that basically lets your body feel more at ease, feel more at peace, feel more calm, less reactive, more connected, more supported, more grounded, more aligned. And so we work our way through the body to release that stuck energy, whether that's physical, emotional, or energetic. And then we get to unwind and rebalance so that we can step into this amazing new way of actually living in our body, being embodied. Okay, so as I kind of mentioned before, the number one thing that I've seen in my practice, and this is my perspective, because I know there's lots of people that are super happy to take hormones, and that is great. You got to do what's best for you and have your discernment and know what you need through your intuitive knowing. But if you are someone that is looking for other ways, then restoring your yin is the number one way. Okay. So this is also nothing, this is not I didn't make this up. This is ancient wisdom that we have known for thousands of years. Okay, so I just wanted to go over how much, we've been in overdrive. So this is why I created the Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor. So it obviously addresses your pelvic floor, but also addresses the whole body, the whole system, the fascial system, the emotional system, and also the energetic system, which is super important too. And okay, so here are some things I want you to think about to restore your yin and to rebalance your system and get more in rhythm. Because I think the thing is, a lot of us want a quick fix. We want to take an injection. We want to slap a patch on. We want to do something that is just an immediate thing, which I get. But in a way, if you think about it, that's really a Band-Aid. That's also could be considered numbing out or bypassing your innate body intelligence. Okay, so this is a powerful message that I know is not for everyone, but I want to give you guys some tools. So, number one thing that can be so helpful is what we were just talking about. So, healing and restoring your fascia. This is incredibly important. So, getting in there and freeing up the density and the thickness, flushing your lymphatic system is incredibly important. So, jumping on a rebounder can be great for that. Obviously, drinking water is amazing, and all the other things you can do for your lymph. Going outside in the morning, get your morning light, standing on the earth if possible. If not, just open your blinds and let that natural light come in. That will help your body stimulate natural melatonin, which will actually help you sleep better at night and help you be more in tune with your own biological circadian rhythms, but also the rhythms of nature as well. The other things that are really helpful are to reduce stimulants like caffeine. Some people also believe to lower the amount of alcohol that you drink, which is totally up to you and up to your body. And then, of course, decreasing screen time is really important, especially at night, because all these things actually drain your yin. Something that's really helpful to restore yin is working your body and using your own body weight. Strengthening your bones by jumping on a rebounder and working with the force of gravity, changing, like in my app, we have all kinds of different flows and we're always changing the where we are using gravity. So the force of gravity. So we're doing all the different natural primal movements that humans are meant to do. Forward flexion, extension, side bending, twisting, inverting, moving the body in all those different planes of movement is super important. That clears away some of the stagnant energy. It helps support the lymph. It also just helps to move anything that might be stuck. So, and then of course, all the body sphere moves are really helpful to clear out the junk that you've been holding on to, whether that's trauma or tension or stress. Anything that you're holding, even belief systems and old patterns that might be held from your epigenetics as well, from your family history. And doing things obviously like breath work, which we do a lot of that in the course. We do what's called the blossom breathing. We can actually do that right now if you want. We kind of started with that today, where you breathe in and you feel your diaphragm pressing down into the organs, and then your organs drop down into the base of your pelvic floor. So your organs push down, and then that helps expand the blossom here. And then as you exhale, it recoils into a nice little rosebud. So let's do a little bit of that so you can feel that in your body. So inhale, exhale. I like to add a little sigh because it helps vibrate out any swallowed emotions. It also helps to activate and stimulate your thyroid gland, which helps boost your metabolism, regulate your hormones, and all those types of things. So blossom breathing is something we focus a lot on that helps restore your yin, and remembering that your breath has the capacity to go all the way down to the base of your core. Other things that replenish your yin, and I talk a lot about this in the book, which, by the way, you get a copy of this book. I think it's the ebook version of this book when you sign up for the course. And it's a really amazing companion that goes along with the course. So I highly recommend diving into this. And I also love, I think I've shown this before here to you guys, but I love this visual. If you guys can see that. It's such a cool visual of, the bottom here. This is the roots, right? These are the roots of us, the pelvic floor. And then we work our way up, and it's not in a linear way. We work our way up the body, up into the head, neck, shoulders, crown, that inner knowing, that intuition. So cool. So these are all practices, and I have rituals and recipes all kinds of holistic stuff. I have photos of the moves as well. Obviously, video form is so much easier when you're wanting to learn the flows, but there are great things that help restore the yin practices and recipes and all kinds of stuff in here that you guys will love. Those are all yin restoring things because obviously, there's a whole list of things you can do with food, with supplements, which I won't really get into here because I want to focus on my expertise, which is really this fascia, body intelligence, and alignment. And so one of the things I talk about, though, to enhance your yin and to support the parasympathetic state of your nervous system, to keep you more regulated and balanced, is to practice things that are actually stimulating your creativity. So that could be art, but that also could be cooking. It could be gardening. It could be interior design. It could be anything that's stimulating that creative energy within you, because a lot of that creative energy is stored here in our root. So a lot of people's creative energy is quite locked here because they're so stuck in clutch and they're only stuck in that buried down, the yang, the doing, the force, the white knuckling our way through life. So when we unlock the creativity, it helps unlock these parts of our body as well. Our body, our energy system, and our ability to have that electromagnetic part of us. That's really the feminine energy. So the creativity helps unlock these parts of us. That could be anything. So you have to think about what that means for you. Also, just laughing. Laughing can be an amazing thing to bring yin into your body and into your life. Laughing, the chuckle actually vibrates things out of your guts, things that might be stuck. It's also, like I've said before, it's the best core workout. Chuckling, laughing. I mean, and also you can feel it in your throat, releasing things as well. Crying can be a great way to release the stuck energy, the water of our bodies, to release the emotions or the things being held in our system and in our field as well. And okay, obviously I talked about hydration majorly. That's not just water. I like using electrolytes. I think those are really helpful, especially after a sauna. And here we are to the infrared sauna. So using the infrared sauna. Okay, so this definitely makes sense. So if you need to release heat that's stuck in the body, the sauna can be really helpful so that you can actually rebalance your system. So if you go into sauna, it can actually help prevent hot flashes and night sweats. So you've got to get a good sweat on, obviously about 30 minutes. And I actually make sure you're not taking any pharmaceuticals, but I actually love taking a charcoal, like a activated charcoal pill after a good sauna session, because everything that your body is purging is obviously first coming out of your skin. And then obviously you'll pee some of it out and you'll breathe some of it out through your exhales. But you'll also, the things that your body has discharged, but it's now in your bloodstream, the toxins, the charcoal can actually go into the bloodstream and then you can poo out the rest of whatever the buildup is. So that's an amazing way to flush out, let's say it's, microplastics or, those excess estrogens that come from plastic or any other environmental toxins that are throwing your system off. So the sauna is incredibly important for getting in and really wringing yourself out and rebalancing the system. I've heard doctors now in this day and age talk about how important it is almost a requirement to have a sauna these days. So I have the big sauna. I'm obsessed with it. It's one of the best investments we've ever made. And there's also the other great sauna blankets, like the higher dose sauna blankets are great as well. But the sauna is an amazing addition, especially if you are struggling with specific, menopause symptoms specifically. But it is something, the more you do it, the better it can help. I prefer to do it in the morning when I'm in my yang part of my day. sweat it out. And then I like to do a salt bath in the evening, which helps remineralize your body, because that's another reason why we can end up having menopause symptoms. It's because of being lacking in minerals as well. So remineralizing, not just from drinking electrolytes, but from sitting in a beautiful hot magnesium chloride salt bath. Very yin restoring. And I actually have these really cool these bath recipes in this book too, which you guys will love. Okay. The other last few things are, a lot of people ask me like, okay, well, if you're not going to take HRT, what is the alternative? Maca can be an incredible adaptogen that can actually be incredibly potent, and has even been compared to HRT to be super helpful and supportive for instead of taking HRT, for instance. So maca, there's actually I should share the link, but I think it's called the Royal Maca. I think you can just get it on Amazon. And it's a powdered form. And what I love about maca is it's not actually a supplement. It's actually a food. So it's kind of looks like a bit like a radish that grows in the earth in Peru. And they take it and they pull it out and they dry it out. And then they basically make it into a powdered form. So if you get maca, just make sure you get one that's just maca. Maca root is what it's called. And you want to get it in the powdered form. And you can take it in pill form if you prefer that. That's fine. I know a lot of people prefer to have it in the actual just powder form. You can put it into a smoothie. You can eat it with a little bit of peanut butter. That's quite a nice way to do it. It's a little bit nutty. But it's just, again, you kind of have to take you have to take it regularly in order for it to work. I also am a huge fan of having acupuncture regularly to keep the organ systems healthy, to keep the emotional state balanced, the adrenals balanced. And also deer velvet can be a really helpful supplement too. And excuse me. Okay. Okay, so the other thing that can be super helpful is stimulating your vagus nerve. Okay, so we have tons of flows in my app. Obviously, in the course as well, we do lots of things that help stimulate the vagus nerve, because stimulating the vagus nerve helps to regulate your nervous system, get you out of yang, help you get a little bit more into yin so that you have more balance of yin and yang, doing and being, force and flow, all of that good stuff. Okay, so that's really helpful. And these are all things that a lot of the traditional, like if you go to a doctor and they ask you, how's it going through this stage of perimenopause and menopause, they're not going to ask you about all these things, because they are not taught these things in medical school. They're not barely taught anything about nutrition. They're also, obviously, they don't really learn much about fascia. I know there are some doctors that are so excited about fascia, but they really don't learn about chi, life force energy, the fact that we are electromagnetic beings. They don't learn about flow or the yin to the yang and all that stuff. So this is just a little bit more of a different, or let's say it's more of an integrative way of managing and embracing this new era. Okay. So, yes. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So menopause is not the end. It's not like this devastating thing that happens to us women. It's not like your life is over. Actually, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a whole new you, stepping into your true wisdom and beginning a new radiant. That's why I love the word radiant, because radiant to me is so much more impactful than like saying, I want to glow. To me, glowing is something we did when we were in our 20s. But becoming radiant is actually this beautiful opportunity to actually shine your light. It's like embodying that light from the inside out. Feeling that light shine, that radiant radiant. The radiant energy is about your light literally becoming brighter. So that, and then obviously the benefits of that are like, you do look younger. You are glowing more. Your eyes are whiter. Your skin looks plumper. Your body feels lighter and brighter. So that's why I love using that word, because I feel like there's no age limit on that. I know women that are in their 90s that are, my mentors or teachers that literally, yeah, they might have some wrinkles, but they are radiant. They are glowing more than anyone could glow in your 20s. It's a different kind of glow. It's this radiance that comes from trust, from faith, and from wisdom. It's so incredible. So remember, this is our time to take a pause, take a beat, to reset and to reclaim this wisdom. And also to remember who we really are and why we're actually here. And also step into our power and our authority and our confidence and our self-trust. And so that's what I get so excited about in everything that I teach, and my core message, which is to help women or anyone that wants to awaken this innate intelligence inside of us all. See, beyond the intellect in the mind lies an innate intelligence in our body that actually knows how to do things that we don't even have to think about. It knows how to heal a cut. We don't have to think about it. It knows how to have a moon cycle. It knows how to transition from one stage of life to the other stage of life. It knows how to create life. It knows when you need to release things, whether it's throwing up or crying or laughing or pooing or sweating. It just knows. It's this innate intelligence. So that's what we're awakening. And in my course, in the Awaken the Power of Your Pelvic Floor, we go deeper into this and we get to the root cause of so many of these issues. Instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, bypassing or numbing out. So I'm inviting you to join me, and we're starting next week on May 12th. Together, we will go and get to the root, and we'll release stuck energy, toxins, emotions. We'll restore the flow and the yin, and we'll create more balance so that you can step into that true strength and that true power that actually feels good and not exhausting. Remember, you don't need to suffer through this alone. We have a beautiful community that you are always welcome to join. And I'm in there so often, and I'm so excited to be there. But the community itself is what it's all about. It's not about the message. It's not about the messenger, is what I meant to say. It's about the message. This is not about me. I mean, I use myself as a guinea pig, and I do a lot of research on my own. Me search is research, as we say. But the most important thing is that we have this amazing community that will be there for you and support you every step of the way. So remember, there is another way, and there is a graceful path to be able to walk through this time of our lives with more ease, more joy, more vitality, and more embodiment. So I'm inviting you to join us, and I hope that I will see you guys when we start, and I'll see you soon. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.